Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody and excited to welcome back into our studio the University of Nebraska System President, Dr. Jeff Gold, who continues to make some periodically appearances here with us on Sports Nightly as he keeps us updated on all the happenings across the University of Nebraska systems here in Nebraska. Thank you so much for coming back.
Always a pleasure to be with you.
Well, we've talked a lot about these Nebraska basketball programs. Wow, they've been so impressive. There's a lot of exciting sports teams that are either just getting their season started or going to be finishing soon. What excites you the most about some of these sports teams as we move into the winter and spring seasons here, full speed ahead?
Well, first and foremost, just incredible pride in the basketball program, and as we look forward to the remaining games in the season, I know there's a lot of tough competition that's actively ongoing. The competition within the conference doesn't get any easier. You know, the Big Ten is the Big Ten, as we know, and whether it's on the gridiron or on the hardwood, the competition is really tough. But congratulations to Amy and to Fred, and of course, thanks to the team for all their really, really hard work. But of course, we're getting into baseball, softball in the not so distant future, which is very exciting to me as a longtime baseball fan. As the audience may know, I grew up in New York City, and I'm not to anybody's surprise, dyed in the wool. At least I used to be a Yankee fan. I mean, I used to save my nickels and dimes and get on the subway and take it up to the old Yankee Stadium and really enjoy those days. Those may have been the heydays of the team. But now it's all about college sports for me, and watching these two programs get started. You know, I'll tell you, I ran into one of our baseball players in an airport recently. He was coming back from a competition somewhere, and he recognized me and said hi, and we started to talk a little bit. And, I'm sure he's representative of the total team, but he's just so committed to his sports, so committed to academics. You know, he's coming back for the spring semester. And I think, Jess, that's really what it's about. These are student athletes who work really hard in the classroom. Graduation rates are, among the very best in the conference and tops in the NCAA, certainly within the A4 conferences, but also totally committed to their sport. And they know that dedication, that time management is everything. And of course, it pays off in the win-loss column.
You haven't told John Baylor you're a Yankees fan, have you? He's a big Red Sox guy.
I can tell you that for many years of my life, including currently, I defined the end of the baseball season by when the Red Sox are eliminated. So I will tell John that, and I'm sorry if he has a different view on the subject, but sorry about it.
You definitely should let him know. All right, well, sticking with the sports theme, just a huge announcement here at the University of Nebraska with the addition of another sport, another women's sport, a really up-and-coming, growing sport, going to be in the Olympics in flag football. Troy Dannon making the announcement a couple weeks ago, last week. How exciting is this announcement and to be able to add another sport here at Nebraska?
Well, it's always exciting to add a sport, but particularly this sport, which is another women's sport in a state that is so supportive of women's sports, is particularly exciting. You know, I don't know if we're going to be the first or one of the first in the conference or across the entire NCAA, but as you mentioned, this will be in the Olympics, and it's very, I think, important for us to be able to offer this and to begin to play. And I think the first competitions will be in 2028.
Yep.
Would that be correct, Jess?
Yep, that is correct. And we don't do anything if we're not going to compete, right? So fully expect to have a team that's competitive, right?
Oh, you better believe it. The Husker spirit is alive and well, and I'm sure we will be extremely competitive in this, just as we are in every sport.
You got to be impressed with the way Troy Dannon's handled a lot of these decisions that he's making, and again, in college athletics where it's ever changing.
Well, I think that's an understatement of the year. The combination of all the changes that have occurred due to the NIL and the transfer portal and the revenue sharing, the changes that have occurred due to different sports having different regulations. Some of the referee decisions and the calls are complex as well. But I'll tell you this: Troy is just so thoughtful about these decisions. He loves the students and the athletics of this. He's obviously a very loyal fan. We actually sit together on the court very often, or together in the stands. We travel together to many different events. Obviously, he sits on so many different key committees, including, as you may know, the College Football Playoff Committee that makes all these, let's call them controversial decisions, who's in the CFPs. However, he's also a consummate businessman, and he understands what it takes to be proactive and appropriately responsive. So kudos for his leadership.
Great stuff. All right. Well, the last time we talked, the Nebraska legislature had just reconvened for the start of the legislative season. What is the focus for the University of Nebraska over these next few months?
Well, as always, is to express value of the university and to say that, as Nebraska is going through this difficult budget period where, the price of corn and beans are not what we were used to, and that has impacted so many different families across the state. At a time that development of the workforce is critical to reskill and upskill many of the hard workers in the state of Nebraska. The work ethic that I have seen in our farmers and ranchers and the work ethic that I've seen in our small and large cities, whether it's in banking or insurance or in healthcare, in construction, in architecture, and so many different fields, is unbelievable. But now with the advent of more and more use of artificial intelligence, with the use of other types of technology that has really revolutionized precision agriculture, such as drones and robots and satellite imaging and things of that nature. And certainly in my former field in healthcare, technology is the name of the game in terms of imaging, diagnostics, and therapeutics. It's really important to have a great university system that can add skills, provide certificates and certification, provide badging where necessary for non-credit courses, but also to be sure that our high school graduates have access to cutting-edge coursework, to be sure that nobody graduates from the University of Nebraska without experience and expertise in the use of artificial intelligence and high technology, even if they will never use it. I was at a meeting not too long ago where one of the AI software leaders in the United States was speaking about the future role of AI in corporate America. And he was asked the question, is this going to cause a lot of job loss? And, he thought about the question for a minute and he said, Jeff, only for those that don't know how to use it. So whether it's in the field that we're talking about today, which is broadcast journalism, which is obviously key, or whether it's in healthcare, engineering, energy, agriculture, et cetera, it is going to continue to change the way we do things. Clearly, it will never replace the human touch. I am absolutely sure of that, because the creativity that people have, particularly when they work together, is unlimited. And no matter how hard AI works, it will only be a tool to supplement that creativity. But we have to embrace it as a tool, just like we embraced Wi-Fi and mobile devices and so many other things, and learn how to depend upon it, but learn how to put it to work for us.
Fascinating.
That's where our university comes in.
Yeah, fascinating. Well, President Gold, we officially have a new leader here on our Lincoln campus as Interim Chancellor Kathy Ankerson started her role earlier this month. Can you share some of your thoughts on the transition and what's to come here on our Lincoln campus?
Well, having Kathy on board is very exciting. I've had the opportunity to do town hall meetings with her. She has been working with the senior leadership team on the Lincoln campus. She's been working with the deans and the faculty, as well as, of course, has welcomed the students back on their first official days of class during the fall semester. She put out a really thoughtful video and welcome message, I thought, to begin the healing process. I mean, truthfully, we've been through a long, difficult semester or semesters. The budget cuts, as hard as they were, is going to take a lot of time to deal with as we unwind these programs and make sure that all of our students can complete their educational journey. There's no question that that'll take a matter of years to complete. But at the same time, there's a lot of healing that needs to occur, and I'm certainly well aware of that. Kathy is well aware of that. And the only way to do that is to reach out and interact with people and make sure that people feel well listened to and that they're responding to fully. And Kathy is the right person at the right time in the right place.
Well, last thing I got for you here today, we've heard a lot of the news the last few weeks about the partnership between the University of Nebraska and Nebraska Medicine. What does this partnership mean for the university and Nebraskans?
You know, it is an opportunity that we never saw coming. It was about 18 months ago that our partner, Clarkson Regional Health Services up in Omaha, notified us that they were going to withdraw from their half ownership interests in Nebraska Medicine. But once in a lifetime transformational opportunity so that we look like our peer institutions in the Big Ten and across the private sector, and at the same time preserve and protect the academic mission of Nebraska Medicine. And what I mean by that is the state of Nebraska, and many surrounding states, of course, as well, depend upon the workforce that we educate and train, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, therapists, so many others, who get their hands-on experience in the clinics and in the inpatient facilities of Nebraska Medicine, which is, by the way, incredibly well run and incredibly well governed today. And the goal here of all of this transformation and all of the media attention, of course, that goes with it, is just to preserve and protect this in a sustainable way for the future.
Well, fantastic stuff as always. We always greatly appreciate your time here with us on Sports Nightly, and we'll look forward to checking back in with you again here coming up in February.
Till next time, and as always, go Big Red, right?
I love it. I love it. That is University of Nebraska System President Dr. Jeff Gold here with us on Sports Nightly. Got to step aside for a break. We got more coming up right after this.